the sheet metal school with it. He went over to California. He had a brother over there that was working, couldn't work. So anyway, well, two of us, we went to school 720 hours over there to be sheet metal workers. Had a rivet and all that stuff, aircraft. So here we got all up there, and we went down to Goodyear. We was going to have a job. They didn't want us. Being that we draft age. They didn't want us.
Oh, because they figured you weren't going to last very long.
So one of the other guys and myself, we went over to California. We went over to Long Beach over there, Goodyear Aircraft. Man, they wanted us right now. So me and the one guy, the other one he was still over there with his brother, working for a termite outfit. We had a good deal on it. So anyhow, I worked for 9 from then till April till February when I got drafted.
Mm-hmm. And did you start out at 10 cents an hour there, or how much did you make there?
55 cents.
55 cents.
And I got a nickel raise for each week I got for the first 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So in 3 weeks' time, I was up to 70 cents
Ooh.
an hour.
Mm-hmm. And you were working long hours, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Long days, like 12-hour days or whatever.
He liked
7 days a week.
He liked to never paid his landlady off.
Yeah.
He got in the hole.
Well, I didn't have no money. I didn't have much money then.
Yeah.
So anyhow, we got into the boarding house there. And this woman, this Cheryl Shepherd and I, when he was the other guy, my buddy, we went to the boarding house. So it was $10 a week for the boarding room. So when we got in there, well, she raised the rate on $12.50 a week.
Business is booming.
So, and I had to wait for 2 weeks before I get my first check. But in the meantime, I had to buy some tools. I had to buy some tin snips. I had to buy some, see what else. There was tin snips and some pliers, and I don't know, several different types of tools there. So it wound up, I told this landlady, Mrs. Dawkins, I said, well, I'll have to wait to get my first check before I can pay you, because she needs her money now. I said, well, I can't, I'll pay you, I said, I'm working. So here was after my 2 weeks, my first pay, I got $3.70 or 80 cents. Because I had to buy my tools.
And they took it out all
Yeah,
at
they
once.
took it out.
They got ahead of time. Oh man, she got mad. I was a crook and all of that kind of stuff. I said, well, I'm working. I'm desperate. I had 20 cents in my pocket. So anyway, I got another paycheck. I paid it. So,
You weren't so bad after all then.
well, I worked for about 10 months, almost 10 months there.
And you started out just doing on the line there, but didn't you move up to be like a troubleshooter or something?
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, well, I was what they called a trouble man all up and down. All of that, that was a B-17 bomber, what it was. And I first started was the tail fuselage section. Mm-hmm. The whole tail and about halfway up to the wing. They got a hatch there on the side of those planes there, doorway. And just past that was the tail fuselage section over there. And that's where I worked at first. And then being that I was a good riveter and kind of mechanical anything, they got me all up. Got to be a troubleshooter then. I graded up to a Class C lead man, all by myself. I was one guy. I was the lead man all by myself.
a captain of one.
So anyway, but I was at that plane, there'd be people, you know, they'd drill holes in there, that sort of thing, or one of them old heavy bucking bars, they'd bam through there, and you'd have to take a sheet of metal out and rivet nothing back in, or that kind of stuff. Anything like that, where everything was a new job. You know? Mm-hmm. And anything that I wasn't doing like that, why, I was working on anybody else's department, any riveting or anything. Where there was, here they'd have shorthanded to this one over there, and I'd be over this department, and that one over there, and hey Bob, you gotta go over there tomorrow. Over on here, when you're going down here to overtime, you're gonna be down here. They're shorthanded over there. That kind of stuff.
So let's see. So after that, you had to go back because you got the draft notice, right?
Got my draft notice, come over here. Week time, I was in the Navy. In fact, I could have been in the Navy that first night, but I said, oh man, I just got home.
So what was the story you thought you weren't going to have to? So you're planning on coming back because you had Jim had a TV?
My brother Jim, I figured that
He was 4F.
he had scars on his lungs. But, and I assumed that my mother had TB, so people did that. I mean, in those days, people they contacted TB. You might not be sick where you were sick, but they knew
You're still a carrier.
that you carried the thing, and you would have, at one time or another, why evidently you did have it because you'd have a scar tissue on your lung. Sore or liaison or whatever you want to call it. So I just figured, me and Jim wasn't didn't go in the draft, so I wouldn't do it. But I got smart that I wasn't going to be in the service. But the whole thing was, they wanted me to work over there in the FF plant. They was going to give me deferment. Well, I figured, oh no, I got to go. My drafted. I was smarter than they were because I was.
You figured they'd just discharge it, you'd be done, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would go over and I'd have scars on my lungs too, so then I'd go back over to work. See, but I'd give me a week off. I hadn't had no time off. I mean, it was 7 days a week and, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 hours a day.
You ready for a break?
Oh, man, I was, I'm telling you.
But the thing of it is, if they were going to draft you into the Army, weren't they?
No, it was the draft.
Yeah.
And at that time, this is when they first started drafting into the Navy. And me and 9 other guys, there were 11 of us there, but there was 9 other guys and myself that were in the draft. And this one guy had his brother, younger brother there with him, and he was going, being his brother was going to be in the Army, he was going to be too. Maybe he was only 17, so he went over and he decided, well, we were going into the Navy, so he would go in the Navy too. So that made it 11 naval draftees in there. Yet he was only 17 at the time. That kid.
Is that at the time when Aunt Georgia's brother was he in one of those 11, or was it later? Aunt Georgia's, was it Earl or?
I don't know.
Remember, he was in the Navy, and he was in a picture that you had.
Oh, Hazel. Oh, yeah.
Hazelton. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Was he one of that original bunch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that right?
Okay. Aunt Georgia was married to Uncle Bill, my mother's brother. And her sister was married to my mother's other brother, Uncle Jimmy. But Aunt Georgia was one of 10 or 12 children. And one of her brothers went in, I was pretty sure it was the same time that Grandad went in, because they have the pictures together in a group picture of it. So anyway, that was kind of a coincidence that we didn't know till many years later. Yeah. But Grandad.
Yeah, his name was Grant.
Grant. I had the wrong one.
Grant.
Grant.
I got a picture of him here.
Oh.
If I get through. It's been a long time since I had to get this out without getting it all messed around here.
Oh wow!
This is my boot renting company.
I don't know. Have I seen this before? I don't think I've seen
I
this.
don't think you
You
find
can
out.
see your wrist in
Okay, then I'm being careful.
Wow.
Can you see where I am there?
I have no idea. That's a lot of young men there.
Along here
Are
someplace.
you in the front bottom row?
Yeah.
It's been too long since I've looked at this.
Oh, your circle. Is that you there?
Yeah.
Circle.
Yeah, that's right there. And this Grant. These guys here. This guy here. Let me see, this was old red-headed kid name. This bunch all lived in Glendale along here.
Mm-hmm. That was all you guys right there.
Hold that right on that corner. Let me look around here. See
Hey, want me to move, honey? Let me move.
Let me look through here and I can see Grant there.
See it from this side. It's probably a little easier to tell.
Well,
Here's this Tom Hensley. And there's this guy.
honey, if you
These
look
guys here.
up at the top, I got Grant Hazelton, and I've got Tishaw,
Okay,
and
well,
another name down here. I can't tell.
well, Grant, let's see if Grant's here.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a Tissaw up here. Know that guy. Let me see Grant.
Let's see. This guy is circled.
Is he circled? I can't, because I can't
Yeah, this
see.
one here.
Okay.
So that's probably someone you knew.
Yeah, well, yeah, I knew
And
one of
then,
them.
and then this guy's circled here.
See, there's a name up there at the top, but I can't read it.
Get something.
I don't know. Your mother wrote that. I can see that.
You mean your grandma? His grandma.
Your grandma. Now, Grant Hazelton, he must be here someplace. Maybe this is him up here on top.
So where was this picture taken, Granddad?
In San Diego, boot camp.
In your boot camp there? Is this where they sent you at first?
Yeah.
Okay. So they sent you
Well, it was 4380. Company 4380.
and after boot camp they sent you off?
Yeah, I went to University of Missouri. Went to school.
So there, and that was where you went to diesel mechanic school, right?
Yep. Then I went up to Chicago, Navy Pier.
How long were you in Missouri?
Huh?
How long were you in Missouri, do you think?
Oh, about 4 months.
4 months.
Then they went up to Chicago advanced school. And,
That was where all the big naval stuff was in Chicago, right?
Navy Pier.
Yeah.
In Chicago, they had that pier was out. That pier they've had, I guess, over 100 years ago. I mean, it was back before World War I even. This was the Navy Pier out in Michigan, and it's 2-story pier, and they got all kinds of dormitories and schools there. Clear out at the end of the pier where they had a patio kind of deal out there. Had tables and what have you out there. And we'd get out there at night, and that was where we'd get all of our food was lousy. Oh, I'm telling you, they'd have guards on the garbage cans, and you didn't ever dump
Your food.
your garbage tray. Because they wasn't going to let you, you're going to eat that.
You're gonna eat.
Whether you ate it, you
Liked
were
it or
able
not.
to eat it or not.
Yeah.
So they had garbage. I mean, they had their nightsticks and what have you.
So what were you learning up there in Chicago then?
Diesel.
You're still doing, it was to continue on diesel mechanic
Yeah.
training?
And then I went up there for about 4 months, 3 months. And then we come out of there, and they loaded us aboard. There was 20 of us. And we loaded on a train in Chicago and had arm guards on us.
Mm-hmm.
And the windows, curtains all pulled down and everything. God, what was going on? We was in prison or something. Well, we was supposedly the top guys in the class out of 200 and some odd guys. We were supposed to be the top of the class. Anyway, here we come to training, and the train would get stopped every so often. We didn't know where we were. We'd try and pull the curtain out, look, see where we were. Couldn't see him. Get that curtain back. So the first place we found out was out here on the Navajo reservation. And we let the curtains up, and here we were down in the middle of nowhere, and all sand and what have you.
You figured it was
a few
safe.
woods and, oh, Jesus, where are we? And anyhow, I was there, and here a couple of little old Indian kids out there, one of them about 12 and the other one about 8 or so, riding a little old horse, little old pony. So the guys come out there, and we had that doors open on the train. So the guy said, "I'll give you $1. Let me ride the horse over there." Oh, okay, kids, okay. So we got out there, and he said, "You go out and ride a little circle here." And so these other guys, they started hollering, "Oh yeah, they want to ride, they want to ride." So I had about 10 guys ride that little horse out there.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was a little, probably a 600 or 700 pound horse anyway. He wasn't very big, and the sand was about so deep, but well, that little old horse, his old tongue was hanging out about that far. He was about to kill him.
Oh, no.
But them kids got $10 out of it.
That was a lot of money then.
Oh, it was a lot of money.
Had a captive audience there with all you sailors. So you stay.
And well, they wanted to keep on riding on horse, but he was about to kill him.
Done. Yeah.
So finally, somebody said, "No, I mean, it wasn't the kids that thought it was somebody on a train there. No. You're going to kill the horse. Maybe he's already dead. I don't know. But I never seen the horse, but his tongue was hanging about 4 to 6 inches out of his mouth. Yeah. Poor little thing like that.
So you're there for a little bit, and then where did you guys go from there?
San Francisco, I went back to San Francisco, Treasure Island. So here they loaded us off. We didn't know what we was going. We went to San Francisco the first day there. Oh yeah, we're gonna have liberty. We went into San Francisco, Mark Street here, and a bunch of them. Want to see all the Gulf around. And I said, "Okay, you guys get out of here tomorrow." So the next morning they got us out about 4 o'clock in the morning. "Okay, you guys line up out here." Well, it seemed like that we was mess cooking. That's KP in the Army, and mess cooking in the Navy. So we was there for 3 weeks. We was in there, and we served chow. 4 o'clock in the morning to 10:30 at night. We're gonna have liberty every night, though.
If you could keep your eyes open that long,
It
huh?
was a really big lady train. So finally, after about a week, I said that was enough for me. I'd get silent off someplace else, and they kept looking for me. They had a lot. I mean, this was Treasure Island was in there in 1940. My dad and I were there, and it was a World's Fair there. They had a World's Fair in 1939 and 40 in San Francisco and New York. Well, we went to New York there, and in 1940, we went to San Francisco. And had the World's Fair there. Well, here it was, this fairground. That was where the receiver station was for the Navy. The Navy took it over. And all the barracks and all the buildings and what have you. That was it.
So this when you came back was 1944-ish. When did you get drafted?
In 1943.
1943. Okay.
February.
February.
Yeah.
So this is a couple of years after you and your dad had been there.
Yeah.
And so let's see. So then, how was it that you got shipped off then?
Well, we went from there. We went down to Terminal Island down at San Pedro, California,
Mm-hmm.
and we went down there, and we were training on minesweeper, sub chasers and minesweepers. I mean, they had diesel engines, so that was it. We started there. And I don't know, I had made, I think, about 12 requests I wanted to get for TT boats and hot speed boats. Hot boats, I want to be on it. I went in there. Well, we were down there, I don't know, we'd only been there 4 or 5 days down Turn Right, and here was 2 boats in there. I mean, they were really hot boats. I mean, they were good. Man, and they was almost the same thing as a PT boat. I said, what are those? I asked somebody, I said, oh, they're crash boats. Yeah. I said, they are, yeah. But what they do, they go out and they pick up these planes, the crews on the plane crash line, and go out and pick up. Man, I want to be one. So I volunteered for them, and 19 or 18 other guys, that was what we wanted to get into. We didn't want minesweepers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right? Can't blame you there.
So, there's a whole bunch of us that come down from Chicago. We all voted outside of one kid. He went AWOL. They never did find him. So. But anyway, we went in the crash boat. We went to school in for 6 weeks. And they assigned us boats, and that's when we took off. We were assigned the crash boat.
And they had those 2,000 horsepower engines on them. Is that what they had?
Well, they had 1,075 horsepower. They V12 engine. They were a hot boat. They'd run about 60 miles an hour, which is a fast boat then.
Yeah.
They were 63 feet long.
Okay.
I know. I spent there for 2 years.
63. And what was the island that you went out to?
Enemy.
And so did you have to drive those out there, or how did they
No.
load them onto?
Well, what we did when we got the boats, assigned the boats, and they were built at Newport Beach, California. You know where Newport Beach is.
Sure.
Had a Harbor Boat Company, and where we got the boats from. So anyway, they had 4 of them. 4 boats. We had 4 boat crews. So they loaded up, I don't know, either a week or 10 days or so. And they had us in San Pedro Harbor, right next to the fire station there. The Harbor Fire Station. We were right there. Well, they get all the gongs and whistles and what have you. And we got over and visited with the guys at the fire station and what have you. So we had the 4 boats tied there. Well, and then they loaded up and they had a tanker. It was a big tanker, ore tanker, had held 6 million gallons of diesel fuel. We loaded up there. And then on the decks they had ramps, angle iron ramps up maybe as high as this ceiling here, up above the tank deck. And the boats, these crash boats were put in, and there were 2 forward and 2 aft on the ship. So that's where we went to them, to Pearl Harbor. It took us a week from Long Beach into Pearl Harbor. And then we was in Pearl Harbor for about 3 weeks, and nobody knew anything about it. We didn't have no assignment, we didn't have no nothing. And the bad thing was, we didn't have nothing to eat, no place to eat. And nobody, we get one, going in there, and oh, you guys get out of here. Didn't have no meal tickets. Well, we had, I don't know, didn't have $2 or $3 or something, $4. That was all the money we had to eat there. Well, the thing was, when they got that tanker, we entered into Pearl Harbor there, and we went in where the fuel loading, where it had all the fuel going with it. And it was right next to the submarine base there. So we would go over there, we was on the other side of the channel over there, maybe from here across the street, another part of it. Here was all these submarines over there, cruising in and out and what have you, going there. So we went around there, and me and another guy went over there, and we wanted to see what the subs looked like, and wanted to visit one of them down there. And, well, they wanted to, volunteer duty was the submarine duty. You didn't get nothing, I mean, you wasn't assigned to none, that was volunteer. Anyway, the guys wanted us, volunteer. So we got down in there, and here you got a little hatch about that big. You barely get down in there, even as big as I was. Yeah. I got down there and around and everything. You was always humped in. I don't know how anybody would want to get in there, but that's the way it was. They want us to get in there and go, oh yeah, well, that's a good deal. It really gets not me. But they want no part of it. It was all cramped quarters. You had one bunk, and the guy in the bunk beneath you'd be about that high, and you'd be up above that high.
Yeah.
About a foot or
Sardines, huh?
14 inches at the most.
Did you tell him how long he was overseas?
2 years.
So-
And from there we went to, when we left from December of 43, and then we got in November 45. We was over there in Stinking Islands for that month.
So they loaded your crash boats up and then they dropped you off at Anavita?
Yeah, one built. They when we got into Pearl Harbor, where they unloaded the boat, and this Pearl Harbor at that time, they bombed all them ships and what have you, and this was over a year later, like nearly 2 years later before that. And there was still in that harbor and most of the places around the area, there'd be that much oil.
Oh, wow.
So here we had a nice, pretty painted boat up, and we put that boat down in there. And we had to go over to the dry dock over there. They wanted to shorten our cables on our lifting deal so they could unload us off and ship when we got out to where we would go, because we wasn't what they call a seagoing boat or ship. It wasn't big enough. So anyway, we went over to the dry dock over there, and they towed us over there with the barge and put up in the dry dock, and here our boat was there, and that thing was just that old scrubby, scaly oil all down the side of that new boat. So our skipper got a brainstorm that we had to scrub the boat. So we scrubbed the boat for 3 days while they was shorting the cables up it. Oh man, anyhow, we got right back out of the dry dock, and they towed us over to, they had no place to stay then, so over by the entrance to the harbor over there, they had a CB camp over there. Well, we couldn't get, like I say, we couldn't get any place to get any food, because there was nobody where we were qualified to.
You weren't attached to anything.
To get transferred to or anything. We wasn't attached to anything, basically. So at the time, so the CB said, "Oh, come on over there." And so the CB they fed us over there for 3 weeks before we got out. And then we loaded up on a merchant ship, and then we went back to clear down the Weetok.
Now tell me about when the time then the plane crashed and the guy ran off the wing into you. Did you get rescued over there in Anavita?
Oh, well, we had, that was our job. I don't know just exactly what you're referring to here, but I think it was either about 4 or 5 guys that we rescued in 2 years. The rest of them would go in water, and we'd search to try to find these guys. And there'd be a big oil slick here, and it'd drift downwind. So we'd make circles, hours, trying to find these people. Well, one guy, we picked him, one of these Corsairs with that gold wing from the there, Marines. And he was coming in. He had to make a crash landing because he was running out of fuel. But we was in this lagoon, within the Weetok, was 27 miles long, and then I think it was about 18 or 20 miles wide, of kind of oval shape, like a necklace like that. Well, this guy come in to the lagoon just inside there, and here he was. That when he's out of fuel, he was just drifting in there. And so we was running at him. Here he was coming in here, and we were running wide open, didn't know how far he was going to go or what have you. Well, the guy come come in, and the planes, they with the big old heavy engine in them, and they just kind of hit and bouncing and just sink down. Well, this guy, just as we got there, and I was kind of peeking over. I wasn't supposed to be there. I mean, I was supposed to be down in the engine room, but I was kind of peeking over the side, looking at this plane, and I thought it was going to hit the side of the boat, the wingtip. And you come here, and I mean, they come in that close, and I don't know what, our dumb boatswain mate that was driving the boat, steering the boat, why, he wasn't quite sure what was coming off either. But anyhow, the guy missed us about that far on the wingtip, on the side of the boat. It caved in the whole, cut in the whole side of the boat. But anyway, he threw that canopy back, or maybe already had it, and he jumped out and bailed out, going down that, and like the wingtips from here to the wall over there, he went about 3 times and jumped up had a little cable railing on the crash boat, and there he was. And I mean, we was running pretty fast at the same time and trying to back down, and it was just total instantaneous. Boom! The guy just got up there and he hardly got his feet wet.
Crashed right into the ocean. He hardly caught his feet.
I mean, it was that close to call. One of them, what you call them, actually. But he was one. We either got 4 or 5 guys in 2 years, and he was one of them.
That you found and alive and so on. The rest don't know.
Most of them, like I say, we find them in a little raft, and the other guys. This guy, he just bailed out. I mean, he saw the boat coming. He was for it, I guess.
Can't say anything.
But during that time, you didn't get fed too well because you lost a lot of weight. What?
I weighed 119 pounds when I got back here.
When he got back to the States, and how long did it take you? A month to come back?
Yeah.
And he'd been fed.
Fed for a month to get back up.
Oh,
to
yeah, we get 3 good meals a day on that.
Yeah.
Granddad said he got chocolate milk, and he drank that.
Oh, well, that's when I was in Chicago when I got sick there.
Oh, okay. I thought that was when you came back on the boat.
I got sick when I was in Chicago, native here. I got sick there. And a month. I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. And we went back up when they got up to Navy Pier in Chicago. And like I say, we had that little patio area out on the end of the pier there, and had tables and what have you. I got drinking chocolate milk, and boy, I'm telling you, I gained 14 pounds in 14 days.
Chocolate milk will do that.
I never did gain that.
It's my kind of diet.
But I know that it took him a month to get back from Anahuac on the boat. And when he got back, he weighed 119 pounds when he got back. And that was eating good for a month.
So you guys tried to fish or whatever you could do to try and get food because there's just no rations on the island.
Oh, yeah. Well, we ate over on the island.
But I mean, they didn't have much food during the war there. You guys ran out of provisions.
Oh, yeah. Well, there for a while, we didn't have no food on the boat. We didn't have emergency rations. So after a month or so, oh man, that was enough for that. Well, at first there, they had to, when we first got there, they had these patrol planes. They had to go twin engine patrol planes, and they go round body, and you see that where they float on the water, the Martin Mariner. And whenever they would take off and go on patrol, they got the big idea that we would, in case they crashed or something, that we would have to make a run with him each time. In case he crashed, we would be there available. Well, after a month of that, my God, we was about to die. We wasn't getting nothing to eat, we wasn't getting any sleep or nothing else. Oh, no. So we finally decided we didn't need to patrol them planes when they got out the door.
Tell me about when you got lettuce and things in, and there was magnets in it.
Oh yeah, there was, right after the war was over, they decided they would cheat us, I guess. So we got the one time we got steak. And just about the time the war was over. And we had steak there. Oh man, went in there. So I had steak, went in there. Went back to another. I got another steak. I said, Sapphire, you were here a while ago. Hell no, I just got here. I went back and I got the third steak. They wasn't too big, but I mean, it was meat.
You hadn't had much meat, yeah.
But at the same time, we had lettuce, head lettuce chopped up like that, you know. So, well, this lettuce was there and going on. Man, I mean, it was real, like it was fresher, but hey, I looked there and here was something moving in there. There was maggots down in there.
Huh.
The flies had laid eggs in there, and it'd been in cold storage for long, froze, I guess. And then when they thawed it out, well, here these damn maggots were. That didn't bother me a bit. I just shoved them maggots out of the way. Oh, we was hungry, starving to death.
Yeah. It's amazing how you get hungry enough,
If you
everything
get
starts
hungry
looking
enough.
good.
We'd eat anything and everything we could get. We would catch fish sometimes, not all the time. We'd catch nice mackerel, tuna fish like that, maybe that big tuna, mackerel. So we'd eat them. But it might be a week or maybe 2 or 3 weeks before we get back out where we could have another search area or something. I mean, that was when we'd get a fish. We'd have some hand lines out on the back of the boat, a couple of them with feathered jigs while we was searching around. And the skipper, we wasn't supposed to do that, but he finally come to the conclusion that he was going to do it anyway. All times are tough.
You eat hungry. You need to do something.
You're damn right. You eat anything you can. The only thing was, I mean, we had for about 6 months there, they had Australian mutton and the sheep meat down in Australia. That stuff was so rotten, I'm telling you. We had to go over in the mess hall out on the island. That's where we got our food. I mean, we'd get off in the boat and go over on the island, mess hall. And you could smell that stuff in the mess hall. I mean, they just had screens on the window, the screen. There wasn't glass or nothing. Mm-hmm. You could smell that stuff. But you just kind of gag and eat a little bit or eat some of it. That's it.
So I can't remember. Did you tell me that you had an enemy plane fly over one time, or no? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, we had bombing. We had enemy bomber. And we used to go out every time we'd get an air raid, which we had I don't know, 12 or 15 of them always probably there, where they would actually beat planes over. We would go out and we were always supposed to be out 4 or 5 miles out from the island out there, in case they had planes or our planes would run down or theirs, what have you. So anyway, in fact, one of our guys, he got shot. I mean, anti-aircraft shell up there. We was out there and, man, look at that. You could see the shells busting up there. You know, they're shooting that plane up there. And this guy come along and he told me to quit hitting him in the back. Up there. He was beating down all over. He had a shell wagon come down and
some shrapnel get him.
Come down to a piece of shrapnel. Come down over his lung. Boy, he bet me he was on